Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. Final part of the conversation I had with Josh Luber at the Mint Collective. A good time. Thanks, Josh, for making yourself available. A very busy guy. Thanks, Ray Schulte, for helping to set it up, and Chris Corbellini for handling the AV and the special booth that Collectable provided. And thanks, Ezra Levine, too. Thanks, sponsors, Topps Panini, Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Huggins and Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication. So here it is, and thanks, Josh.
There have been some people calling into my podcast that have talked about commoditizing a kid's product. It's okay.
Well, if
you produced a kid's product.
There's a way to look at that. We think that there should be a product that is always available on the shelf. Well, it's always a buck. It's whatever it is. And
you still have to be careful with that.
For sure. By the way, that only works in a holistic strategy. Those things one-off don't work because you start to, this is the only product we can get, so the resellers are going to go and just clear off the shelf at Target. It only works holistically.
I'm on your side. At the industry summits that were in Hawaii, the early ones had strong representation from the leagues and the players' associations. They're not so much here, although a couple are here, but wandering around. But if you're a manufacturer, you want that PA and the league to say, we want you to do a product like that because that's our future too. And so we're either going to cut you some slack, or that's probably not the right way to say it. But,
I know what you mean.
But it's an investment in the category.
It is.
And if they believe in that, and with Fanatics having some ownership for those entities, I love that, Josh. I think that's something that's never happened before. As long as you don't kill the golden goose, that's good.
No, that is true. That last point, it was a no-brainer for us to go and bring the leagues and PAs in as partners. Frankly, it's a little bit surprising that it hadn't happened sooner in the industry, and to be able to actually have them at the table and be on our board and be involved in these meetings like they should be. So it's their business. We just get the ones who make the cards for it.
There's a lot of great people in this industry. And when there's ownership changes, as it did in my company and some of the transactions you guys have made, hopefully there's some wisdom to keep the good people and for it to be 1 + 1 = 3.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. I feel like you're going to cut me off at 1490 or 1459 here.
After I get home. I'll pick the best part.
You just got it.
Okay.
All good. All right, good.
You talk too fast.
No, this is great. I guess I'm really curious, what are your thoughts on the blind Dutch auction? Were you able to see how that worked with your friends?
Yeah. The fact that it was technologically pulled off is not to be underestimated.
Yeah.
Okay? It's your prerogative to sell any way you want to, and to try a different way that actually has a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Because I think the card companies ought to be really upset if the secondary market is so much above what they're selling.
That's right.
It doesn't seem fair. In the old days, there was a little bit of a stair step, where everybody made a little bit. Now there's no stair step. A few years ago, you were making money just for getting it direct, and then you could double instantly, and there was no game to play. There was no intelligence you had to have. You just were in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
So blind Dutch auction, even at what would be not blind, that they could see. That'd be interesting too.
Well, the whole idea is that we'll start to iterate on different formats.
I'm saying I love that. If it was the same way every time, you'd get bored, apparently, and I would get bored.
Right.
But the blind Dutch auction, it sounds like it was a success.
Oh, it was a huge success.
In spite of the fact that its secondary market is further appreciated.
Yeah, we did not expect it to be this high in the secondary market. The theory of it is it should jump a little bit, just the nature of setting the clearing price down, so you have some demand that's above. But it's way above where we thought it would be on the secondary market, and it's starting to come back down, and so we'll see. But our thoughts is generally with market-based pricing to be able to test different formats.
Yes.
And see which ones work, and see this works for this type of product, that works for this type of product. And by the way, there will still be product at Target and Walmart, and there will still be product that is just a retail product, and that's fine, and it doesn't have a variable price. But it is about the technology. I got to say, I've never been part of a technology product that was this clean. These guys crushed it.
Can you imagine the chaos if there had been some kind of problem? And it may have involved lawsuits, too. It's just very scary. And yet it sounds simple. But
it's not.
And you had people with multiples, and when you're programming all that, so I did the original programming for all my stuff. So it's like an attorney. They're asking questions that are almost never going to happen, but they have to put it in the contract. Same thing with programming. You can't allow for ties.
We had to deal with ties. Your point on multiples is a big one. The engineering
exactly.
Team, I was worried. I said, listen, are we going to be able to do a multiple bit list? We got it. I was like, okay. And they crushed it. We had no issues with that. 20% of people used multiple pricing, which means that first of all, I got to imagine no one has bought baseball
They
cards
put in
using...
stair-step pricing?
Yes.
They put in 1,500, 2,000,
Yes.
2,500?
Yes. They put 20% of people put at least 2 different prices, which I got to imagine no one has used a blind Dutch auction to buy cards before.
But you had to be prepared for that.
Yes. But I was so excited to see so many people try to use that functionality the first time they ever used a blind Dutch auction to buy cards. And the technology worked great, and we covered it. Great to see people use that. By the way, I assume that number will go up as more people really understand the difference between if the price is down at 400, I'm willing to buy 10 versus 2 at 1,000 or whatever it is. Right?
So do you think Fanatics is a data company?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I didn't fully embrace that when I started the company, because it was me, and I'm doing this stuff. I'm just doing what I do because I had a PhD in statistics. I'm doing data analytics. And then when you hire people, you get all these people doing stuff, they were doing that stuff too, but we thought we were like a hobby company. And in reality, we probably were always a data company.
Yeah, Fanatics Commerce, the existing business, they are absolutely a data company and an amazing one. Fanatics Collectibles, right? We are now becoming data company and a marketing company. We need to market this whole hobby. We need to grow it all, but obviously we need to have the right technology and data behind it to do that. It's great to have Fanatics Commerce. They own majority of the company. It's a separate company, but we obviously work very closely with them. So yes, that
like I said, I think it's marketing and data.
Yep.
More marketing, more data, and you're refining all the way toward you're being smarter. It's like machine learning.
Yes.
It's AI.
Yeah.
So very exciting time. I don't wish I was younger, but I'm enjoying life as it is, being I say semi-retired.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days you'll be semi-retired. I paid my dues and I'm happy with where I am, but it's nice to know the hobby's in good hands with young people that are sharp, that have vision and execution.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
It'd be hard to imagine today from 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Even like 6-7 years ago.
It's 3 years.
I think we're going to look 10 years from now, like the trajectory we're on from 10 years from now.
I don't talk to that many people that have made $25 billion bets on a category that I hold very dear. And so
thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep up the only way you can justify that is to really execute.
That's right.
And the customer intimacy is not just with the current customers, it's with the future customers.
Oh, absolutely. I got to tell you, I was fortunate enough to be asked to speak on stage with Peyton this morning, and I appreciate to be here. I've been spending all the rest of my time, we have a conference room, just meeting with hobby shop owners.
Yeah.
And just to meet the individual people running all the hobby shops, particularly people who don't normally get time with us. So we set this up, and I've just been back-to-back just meeting as many people as I can, because the hobby shop owners are the front lines for all of it.
They're an important part of the front line.
Yeah.
But again, for the new customers, they're a part of it. And it's important that be a thriving category, but not the whole enchilada. But
no, that's right. That's right. But it's one that we don't normally get as much exposure to, and you see the breakers on YouTube, you see the breakers online.
That's what I'm retired from, Josh, the back-to-back meetings.
Yeah. Yes, there's that part of it too.
Although most of them are good. These are, I would say my people, but I guess our people that love a lot of the same things. And
I get re-energized each one. In between, I'm exhausted. And then it comes back, and then I hear a story about a guy that was a Domino's driver and now is making $2 million a year breaking. That was the story from yesterday.
It's good.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, because it's no longer a zero-sum game. Way back in the early days, it was like musical chairs where somebody was going to be caught with a hot potato. And then it went to a zero-sum game. That's actually what was the junk wax theory.
Yeah.
It was like a upside-down cakewalk thing when you didn't get your chair. Then it became a zero-sum game. Now it's making the pie bigger.
Yep.
That's why telling the stories of Domino's to millionaire breaker, it's not taken away from anybody. It's building the category.
Yeah. We had the same thought. We said, how do we start telling the stories of the people doing that?
There's never been a time in history where there was power to the people to tell stories, even to exaggerate their stories. But you know what? This guy that said he has a $2 million business, I bet it's 1.7 million.
Maybe.
You know what?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Put him in jail?
That's okay.
For exaggerating? That's part of our...
We
so we're going to audit him.
We also all negotiate.
But I'm saying
right?
he's doing great.
I'm asking $1,000 for this card.
The talk. It's the talk. And the price guides got into that game back in the days. Here's what it says in the price guide. And people would use that either to talk it up or talk it down.
Did you realize how powerful the arrow would be?
Yes. Although we didn't have it immediately, slightly later.
And then everyone thought it was going up, and then it went up, right?
Was?
Yeah.
I've never said this before, I don't think, but the problem with that is there's no typesetting character. I had to create a typesetting character for the up and down arrows because it wasn't.
That's funny.
And so that was my dilemma because I was doing some of that. I created my own markup language.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So that's the holdup. In fact, everything that happened in our company that should have been done sooner, I was the holdup.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I don't want you to be the holdup. It's not like you pull the trigger faster than I do.
Speed is I got to say,
Speed is of utmost importance now, more
absolutely.
so than 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. After StockX, I thought I'm done with big companies. But frankly, Michael Rubin, Fanatics, everyone there had a commitment to speed from the very beginning. Yeah. It's shown, and just in how quickly we've been able to do this. Right now, that is the highest priority to be able to continue to move fast. Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have to create our own typeface. There's stuff out there.
It's a long time ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, otherwise we couldn't, when I got quotes from the typesetters, unless we did our own typesetting, and that meant having a markup language. And somebody showed me some of the basics. I like to learn things, but I went from being this computer, not a savant, but I was decent. And then all of a sudden, all you have to do is delegate it for a few years. And then you want to jump back in, you can't. And then another 10 years go by, and I need the help. I was the help desk. Now I need the help desk.
Right.
Now I can't find the help desk, but I have no regrets. No regrets. And I said, I think I'm handing off to some good people.
Thank you.
And there's enough momentum now that look around.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
These are people who weren't in the industry 3 years ago, probably. And now they're big spenders.
And there's enough resources for us to go hire amazing people. I don't have to just hire trading card fans. I don't have to just hire baseball card fans. When it was small, that's who you get to come work for you. I can go hire amazing people.
Right.
The best Android engineer. Doesn't matter if that person likes trading cards or not. I can build the best Android app.
We had some negative experiences when we hired people that didn't understand the hobby at all.
There are certain roles.
We're prima donnas
roles.
in some cases.
Yeah.
So the programming side. So we had to make sure we had somebody on the team that was not the no person that said, no, you can't do that, or that doesn't work here. There had to be some sensitivity in the way it was delivered. But this is a difficult category, data-wise.
No,
how many SKUs? And then you multiply by the different venues where it can be sold, the different grades, the grading companies. All nines are not created equal, even within PSA or BGS.
Yeah.
But if you can solve it for sports cards, you can really expand it to a lot of things.
To that point,
so that's got to be the dream for Fanatics.
We will create
Once you build
a single metadata layer on top of all of it. We have to. Just the fact that certain grading companies name the same card differently. Like, that's illogical. Like, that shouldn't happen. It's because the naming conventions don't start at the manufacturers. We'll see how long it takes to get there. We will create a universal metadata.
That is probably acquirable through my old company as a special license or something. But again, you want eBay to play ball too. But I think our company worked extremely hard, and certainly when I was there, to make sure we had a nomenclature that was industry standard. Right. But it's not as much industry standard now, but there needs to be a standard. If there is, then there's a whole nother layer that takes away some friction.
It does.
And investors don't want friction.
No. That, by the way, everyone who asks me about growing the industry, the first thing is making it easier. It's about access, about reducing the friction for new people to come in, for those people to stay in, for those people to learn about the hobby.
Yeah.
You know.
But my trick question for somebody is, if they like friction in the hobby, that means they're a collector.
Yes.
If they don't like friction, they're probably an investor.
I get that. Yep.
And I'm dinosauring myself, because I think I like a little bit of friction. I don't want to eliminate all the friction.
In some things, right?
If anything is acquirable just for the price, then that's not the thrill of the chase.
That's fair, but there's some things, like, for example, I like to go through and pre-grade all the cards myself and try to figure out whether I think this is gradable or not, and spend that time doing it. By the way, it's a way to spend time with the cards and do that. And does it take a long time? Yeah. Would it be way easier for me to give this in someone else's service? But like, that's part of, everyone chooses their place in the hobby where they like to spend more time with their cards. You can outsource all of it if you want to.
It takes a lot more time for the newer cards.
Yes.
It's so nuanced, and you're talking about 10, 9.5, 10, black label maybe. Vintage cards, you can make piles.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And that's what it was when I started. It was mainly vintage.
Yeah.
Older was better. Now newer is better.
Yeah.
And you're hoping. But it's all good.
It's all good. It is all good. It is all good.